Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Although she's a proud mother of two, Dorit Kemsley confessed she never prioritized getting married or having children. In fact, there was a time when she was content with the idea of never starting a family. Dorit explained her past thoughts in a recent interview with Roller Coaster magazine, just weeks before she filed to divorce Paul P.K. Kemsley. As much as I now wholeheartedly know I was absolutely born to be a mother, and I'm so blessed, thank you God, for these two amazing children. I was not the girl that was desperate to get married or desperate to have children. I wasn't at all, she told the outlet. I just thought if it's meant to be, it will be. Dorit said she met P.K. shortly after turning 35 and started a family with him just 2 years later. She gave birth to their first child, a son named Jagger, at age 37, and their second child, a daughter named Phoenix, at age 39. I can tell you at 35, I was very much like, if it's not meant to be, this is not in the cards, she said about having children. And I was perfectly okay with that. Same with marriage. I believe in destiny, and that things happen for a reason, and you have to just trust in it. And I think you have to be proactive, and you have to live your life, and you have to keep moving forward, and just trust the process. PK was Dorit's first husband, but he wasn't the first man who proposed to the swimwear designer. Dorit confirmed she was engaged to two wonderful men before meeting PK, but never walked down the aisle. Why? Well, she didn't provide details on what ended those engagements, but suggested PK was the first man with whom she envisioned a future. After 3 months, I felt like I'd known him my whole life. There was just something very different. It was like two pieces of a puzzle that fit, she said. PK was the choice for me, and to build a life with him. If given the chance, I would make the same choice. On April 25th, numerous outlets confirmed Dorit had filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. The news came roughly a year after the couple announced their marital split. We as a couple have been subject to a lot of speculation about our marriage. We have had our struggles over the last few years and continue to work through them as two people who love each other and share two amazing children together, they said in a joint statement. To safeguard our deep friendship and maintain a harmonious environment for our children, we have made the mutual and difficult decision to take some time apart and reevaluate our relationship while we prioritize our children. We appreciate your love and support while we continue to do the work necessary throughout this journey. Dorit has yet to publicly comment on the divorce filing as of press time. Get more details on the couple's separation and how they're navigating co-parenting life. When I look back on the road that led me to Paul P.K. Kemsley, it feels like a beautifully tangled map of detours, discoveries, and divine timing. It wasn't the straightest path, and it certainly wasn't without its heartbreaks. Before I ever met the man who would become the father of my children, my partner in life, and my biggest supporter, I was engaged, twice, to two very different, but equally wonderful men. This might surprise people. I've always been fiercely private about certain parts of my past, especially anything pre-PK. In the world of reality television, that might sound ironic. I've let cameras into my home, my friendships, and even my therapy sessions. But matters of the heart that didn't work out? That's always felt like sacred ground. Until now. I wasn't running from those relationships. I cherished both engagements in their own way. But I was also growing, evolving, figuring out not only what I wanted in a partner, but who I was in the process. The first man I was engaged to was a dreamer. We met in New York when I was fresh out of college and working in fashion. He had this creative spirit that reminded me of the artists in Soho. We talked for hours about life and love and the kind of family we wanted to build. He wrote me poems, yes, actual handwritten poems. He once surprised me with a trip to Paris and proposed on a rainy balcony overlooking the Seine. It was romantic, intense, and everything I thought love was supposed to feel like in my 20s. The second engagement came a few years later. By then, I had moved to Italy and was truly thriving in the fashion industry. He was older, incredibly successful, and had a presence that could command any room. He loved me fiercely, and in many ways, our lives looked perfect from the outside. We vacationed on yachts, attended glamorous events, and talked about having children in Lake Como. He brought stability, security, elegance. But deep down, I often felt like I was playing a role. I was the doting future wife, the glamorous partner, but I wasn't fully myself. I'd catch glimpses of the real me in the mirror and wonder when she'd come back. One night, while we were having dinner in Milan, he told me he expected me to leave my career when we got married. That's when something in me snapped awake. I realized love shouldn't require you to disappear. We parted ways amicably, and though I mourned that relationship too, I knew it had shown me my own strength, the non-negotiables I'd been too afraid to say out loud. Enter PK. When I first met Paul, I didn't know what to make of him. He wasn't the brooding poet or the debonair tycoon. He was loud, hilarious, a little cheeky, and incredibly real. There was no performance, no illusion. Just a man who saw me, flaws and all, and made me laugh until my stomach hurt. He didn't try to change me. He celebrated me, my independence, my ambitions, my quirks. Our courtship wasn't perfect. What love story ever is? But it was honest. There were long conversations, tearful fights, joyful reunions, and an overwhelming sense of peace I had never felt before. We got married in 2015, and since then, life has given us no shortage of curveballs. 2 children, 2 major careers, a terrifying home invasion, and more than our fair share of tabloid headlines. PK and I have weathered storms that would have broken lesser bonds. There were moments I doubted. Every long marriage has them. But not once did I ever question whether choosing PK was the right decision. Looking back, I understand now why the first 2 engagements didn't work out. They weren't failures. They were lessons. They were mirrors held up to the woman I was becoming. I had to learn how to walk away from something good to wait for something great. I had to unlearn the fantasy and embrace the real. I used to think being in love meant fireworks. But now I know. Real love is more like a lighthouse. It doesn't blind you with spectacle. It guides you home. PK is my lighthouse. He might drive me mad with his clutter, and his jokes might make me roll my eyes, but he's the one person I can be completely myself with. No makeup, no pretense, just me. So yes, I was engaged to 2 wonderful men before him, but I married the man who made me feel like I was enough exactly as I am. And that's the kind of love I'd choose again and again. In a rare and reflective moment, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Dorit Kemsley is peeling back the layers of her glamorously guarded past, offering a candid look into the winding road that led her to Paul PK Kemsley, her husband, business partner, and at times, her most polarizing storyline. It's funny, Dorit muses, her British meets Connecticut accent curling around her words like silk. People think I met PK and my whole world changed. But the truth is, I was already on my 2nd engagement before I even crossed paths with him. For years, Dorit's public image has been tied to her designer wardrobe, her striking aesthetic, and her often tumultuous marriage to PK. But behind the couture and confessionals was a woman navigating love with precision and, at times, painful self-awareness. I was in love before. Twice, actually. Engaged twice. Both wonderful men. Good men, Dorit admits, her voice unusually soft. Something never quite clicked. I wasn't just looking for someone who looked perfect on paper. I wanted someone who saw me, all of me. The first engagement happened in her late 20s, a Parisian banker she met during her years working in fashion abroad. He was charming, refined. My family adored him. I convinced myself he was the one, because everything looked right. We had the holidays in the south of France, dinner parties in Notting Hill, but I always felt like I was playing the role of the perfect partner, not living it.